Hey guys, this is SciX. This video here is going to be full of information and tactics that will be used against our operation in the new hostiles that have moved into Syndicate. Our main focus is going to be switched from PvP and transferred over to griefing tactics. So what griefing is going to allow us to do is it's going to make Syndicate seem unattractive, undesirable to the new locals that are moving in. So this will prevent them from making ISK. It'll prevent new members from wanting to join, and it's just going to really destroy morale within the current member base that they have, and it'll cause them to start looking for new space, new alliances, new blues that they can go join up with. So let's get started. Here we have a general overview of our pocket here in Syndicate. IOAB being our home system, and DP34 being theirs. They tend to use both stations, but earlier intel was suggesting that they were actually moving what they had in the bottom station and bringing it to the top station. They have two passes within DP. They're rather cap heavy, and you can expect about 30 to 50 hostiles within local at any time. I've seen it as high as 60 to 80, and I've seen it as low as 14 to 20, so that's something to keep note of. In these outlying systems, you can expect constant, moderate to even heavy traffic. Beware of baits, beware of traps. You don't want to get caught off the DP34 gate with an obvious Drake bait. Look for ratters through the belts, through anomalies. Use your D-scan to scan for wrecks, see if new wrecks are showing up. Look for haulers. Sit 200 off gate, watch for flashes, watch for scouts, watch for, regular locals that seem to frequent the systems. Just remember to keep it slow, play it smart. We're looking for fights on our terms. We're looking for 100% efficiency. We only want to engage if we know we can win. 23/7 system camping is going to be our strategy. It's going to be the tactic that we use against these guys. We're going to sit cloaked, AFK cloaked, and always watching cloaked. All the time. They're never going to know if we're going to be there. We're going to pick up on these easy ratter kills, hauler kills, just everyday activity stuff. When you go to work, school, grocery store, church, I don't care. Log in, get in a safe spot, cloak up. Don't be in any fleets because you don't want anyone to accidentally warp to you. And the primary ships that we're going to be using, Force Recons. Pilgrims and Falcons stand out amongst these. Stealth bombers will also work great. Cruisers and frigates will work, whether it's Tech 1, 2, or 3. With the Tech 1 and Tech 2, you can just put a prototype on, sit in a safe spot, do a 360 scan, look for wrecks. When wrecks show up, try to narrow it down, see where they're at, and then move towards there. And then covert ops with combat probes to assist anyone to find, tracked out guys. Tactical bookmarks are going to need to be everywhere. This is going to be our best line of defense and offense in these cloaky recon ships. We should have 200 km bookmarks in every direction of gates and stations. You want to be 200 in front, behind, both sides, top and bottom. It'll give you a lot of maneuverability to position in on an opponent or even avoid bubbles, for instance. We also want to get off-grid bookmarks of all the gates and stations. Sit about 1,500 kilometers away. You can scan in that general direction and see what's there, and then you don't show up on anyone's overview. Not that you should anyways, cloaked up. You also want to get 200 km bookmarks off all the asteroid belts. This will assist you in case the ratter is perhaps kiting the rats that are in system. When you're 200 km off and he's trying to pull away from rats, if he's near another asteroid belt, or sorry, an asteroid or rock, you can just warp to 10 of that rock, get in closer to him without risking deactivating, warping to 0. And then you just have a better position where you can come in, scram, point, web, newt, whatever you need to do without having to slow boat toward him. We're also going to want to have a bookmark in each system for an idle safe spot or an AFK safe spot, whatever you want to call it. Somewhere where you can, when you're done for the day or need to go run an errand, you warp to your idle spot and you just cloak up. You remain there. When you want to come back to the game, maybe you come back and you catch something. Warp around, really all this tactic is going to be is it's going to be a lot of watching. It's going to be, making them think you're not there when you really are, and actually not being there, you know. But I said it before, taking it slow, fighting on our terms. Another good practice is when you're in your AFK spot or your idle spot, to burn towards a direction where there's no anomalies, no moons, planets, whatever. Sometimes going straight up or straight down. So if you're going to go AFK, go to your safe spot, cloak up, and then start traveling straight up or straight down. It just avoids, adds that little extra protection from getting decloaked or found. So that's another good practice. On another note, these hostiles are not used to NPC warfare. They're used to being able to come in, drop in their SBU, their Sovereignty Blockade Unit, and bringing in a lot of firepower. Bring in, as many guns as you can, drop your SBU, give it some time, and whoever they were fighting can no longer live there because they just regained control of the system. Can't do that in NPC, so we have an advantage here. An old friend of mine that's been playing since beta and living in NPC space longer than I've even been playing the game, he once told me that you don't win NPC space through firepower, you win NPC space by living there. And he has a small corp sitting up in Vanal for years now, and this is the tactic he runs. Whenever some big alliance comes in and thinks they're gonna, sit in that system or use their system as a launching pad, they switch over to this griefing tactic, and he says it's very successful. He's lived there forever, he doesn't even belong to an alliance, he's got a corp of like 28 guys, and this is what they do. So, it should work for us too. It should be a successful campaign as long as we can reduce losses. We have to fight smart fights. We got to go after kills that we know we can make. We're not looking for any risky fights. We're not looking to be a hero. All we're looking to do is, I don't want to say bore, but it's going to be very boring. It's going to be, a bit of boredom to them, but we're looking for smart kills. We're doing a lot of watching. We're only going after what we know we can take down, what we know isn't a trap, what we know will win. In closing, I also want to mention that we got to check these dead-end systems for ratters, miners, haulers, whatever. They've been in there, we've seen them in there, they're going to continue to go there, and that may be where they resort on going after a few weeks of these griefing tactics that we run. They're not going to want to sit in DP, they're not going to want to sit in 617 or 6U and RAT anymore. They're going to go into these dead-end systems where the only way in is that one entrance. So, just in closing here, recons, Force recons is going to be the primary ship. Pilgrims and Falcons are lovely. Stealth bombers will be your secondary ship. Tech 3s is also a good choice just because they have the same mobility as Force recons and stealth bombers. Cruisers, frigates, those are still fine. Tech 1, Tech 2. You can still put a cloak on them, and like I mentioned before, do the D scan, look for wrecks, and then warp in on a point, and hopefully you can catch something there. Don't use battleships, they're too slow, they're not a good choice. And covert ops, if that's all you can fly, if you can only fly a Helios, you could help us out by scanning down systems. We got to work together. So that's going to be another another piece of this puzzle for our success is working together. We can't solo everything. Getting a Pilgrim, a Helios, and a Falcon together, scanning down an anomaly, warping in together, hitting point. That's going to be how we win this. And another note is never warp to zero of a fellow person in fleet. Everyone's going to be using cloaks, so if you warp to zero on someone, you're going to decloak them, and it's going to get ugly. So, play smart. Fight smart, not harder. Let's get these guys.